Muy buenas tardes, queridos estimados participantes, dar la cordial bienvenida a cada uno de ustedes y felicitarles por ingresar de manera puntual a nuestra tercera sesión de clase al curso gratuito de inglés intermedio B2. ¿Cómo están? Nos encontramos seguramente, estamos muy felices por empezar nuestra tercera sesión de clase. Nuestra institución está ubicado en Andahuaylas, Apurímac. Tenemos oficina principal y propia en el Girón de Ayacucho número 528 para todos aquellos que nos quieren ver y también conocernos. Por otro lado, tenemos convenios con distintas instituciones de las cuales son parte de los cursos gratuitos. Asimismo, les presento a todo el equipo que vienen trabajando con mucho amor para cada uno de ustedes. Asimismo, invitarles a seguir nuestra página, que ya contamos con más de 40 cursos gratuitos habilitados para el mes de marzo. Por favor, aprovechar al máximo y pueden invitar a sus amigos, familiares, amistades. O para mayor información, por favor, comunicarse con el siguiente número que esté en la pantallita para poderlos ayudar a cada uno de ustedes. Asimismo, mencionarles que para este año tenemos una meta de llegar a los 100,000 seguidores. Por favor, síguenos en nuestras redes sociales. Sí, comunicado importante, ojito aquí, nuestra institución no hace llamadas ni tampoco envía mensajes personales. Quien les habla, quien les saluda, soy la asistente académica Mónica Costa, quien les estará acompañando en el curso. Para cualquier duda, consulta o dificultad, por favor comunicarse con mi persona con el siguiente número que esté en la pantallita para poderlos ayudar a cada uno de ustedes. El día de hoy nos va a impartir una hermosa clase y también su conocimiento es la maestra Jenny. Asimismo, aprovecho a hacer el reconocimiento a la maestra que va impartiendo su conocimiento en nuestra institución. Por favor, no se olviden de nuestros horarios. Recuerde que es nuestra tercera sesión de clase, frecuencia martes y jueves, horario de 4 a 6 de la tarde. Tendremos 2 semanas de nuestra capacitación. Asimismo, les recomiendo que tomemos una foto o una captura del temario para que tengamos en cuenta los temas que estaremos aprendiendo el día de hoy. Sobre nuestra metodología, recuerda que la clase es en vivo y asimismo es grabada, se enviará a su grupo de WhatsApp para que usted pueda repasar y poner en práctica. Los materiales, los videos, toda la información se envían a su grupo de WhatsApp. Al finalizar el curso, usted dará un examen para que pueda tramitar su certificado de manera opcional. Al finalizar el curso, usted obtendrá un certificado con mención en inglés intermedio B2 a nombre de nuestra institución. Y recuerde que el certificado sale con 90 horas académicas. Si usted me pregunta, señorita, ¿por qué sale con 90 horas académicas? Sale porque cuando usted va a tramitar tendrá como regalo el campus virtual habilitado por más de 2 años. ¿Cómo estaremos en contacto? Por esa razón sale con 90 horas académicas. Para que usted pueda tramitar, tiene que tener una nota mayor e igual a 14. Los participantes que van a tramitar tendrá como regalo el campus virtual. En el campus virtual usted va a encontrar materiales, videos y recursos adicionales habilitados por más de 2 años, habilitado 24/7. Y también recuerda que el certificado cuenta con un sistema de código de validación que es el código QR y código único de registro. El costo es muy simbólico de 30 soles, es para mantener sostenible nuestra institución y para seguir brindando más cursos gratuitos. El trámite es opcional, pero como institución les recomendamos que tramiten su certificado. Recuerda que el certificado avala tu conocimiento. Para mayor información, por favor, comunicarse con el siguiente número que está en la pantallita para poderlos ayudar a cada uno de ustedes. Asimismo, hacemos envíos a nivel nacional de manera digital. Ojito aquí, nuestra institución le va a enviar un enlace de nuestro sistema para que usted pueda descargar su certificado correspondiente. Asimismo, hacemos envíos a nivel nacional. Nuestra institución trabaja con la empresa Sharon. Muy buenas tardes, queridos estimados participantes. Dar la cordial bienvenida a cada uno de ustedes y felicitarles por ingresar de manera puntual a nuestra tercera sesión de clase. Para empezar nuestra tercera sesión y nuestra tarde, muy bendecidos, empezaremos con nuestra cita bíblica. Pon en manos del Señor todas tus obras y tus proyectos se cumplirán. Proverbios capítulo 16, versículo 3. Amén a todos y en breve ya se estará conectando la maestra Jenny para que nos pueda impartir una hermosa clase el día de hoy. Muy buenas tardes, maestra Jenny. ¿Cómo está? Bienvenida. Le cedo el espacio. Por favor, puede activar su audio y asimismo compartir su pantalla.
Muy buenas tardes, señorita Mónica. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Buenas tardes con todos. ¿Me escuchan? Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to share the presentation. Okay, today we are going to start our third session. That is called Would You Mind? Okay, so this is going to be our session for today. Some classroom rules: be on time, clap for all the people that were connected on time. Write your questions in the chat box, please. If you have any doubts and if you want to know something else, please write your questions in the chat. I will read them and I will try to answer as many of the questions you have. Participate actively during the session. Okay, during the activities, I want you to tell me the first things that comes to your mind, okay? We are going to start today, as I said. Oh, sorry about it. Oh, something happened with my comment topics. I think I close it up. Okay, so I said, would you mind? And here, would you mind? It's gonna be used when you want the person we are talking to do something. ¿No? El would you mind es cuando queremos que la persona con la que estamos hablando haga algo para nosotros, ¿no? Y va a tener una gramática especial, porque después de esta frasecita del would you mind, vamos a poner siempre el gerund. ¿Qué es el gerund, Miss? El gerund es aquello que tiene, o el verbo que tiene ing, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, would you mind waiting? ¿No? ¿Le importaría esperar? I want you to wait. Is that okay? ¿No? Quisiera que espere. ¿Está bien? ¿No? Would you mind? Es algo polite, ¿no? Educado. So here below, I have some examples, and I want you to help me how to put these examples using the expression would you mind. Remembering that would you mind uses the gerund, ¿no? Después del would you mind vamos a poner el gerund. A ver. Let's start with sentence number 1. Would you mind help in homework? How can you put it? ¿Cómo lo pondríamos usando la pequeña explicación, ¿no? Es una forma educada de pedirle a alguien que haga algo. How, would you mind? Good afternoon, everyone. Ok, ¿cómo le pondríamos ese help? Ajá, exacto, te importaría, ¿no? El would you mind. Pero ¿cómo le pondríamos lo que está en paréntesis? El help y homework. ¿Cómo completaríamos? A ver, would you mind? Helping or to help? Helping. Okay, helping. Very good. Helping homework, okay, but if we want to make this to have any sense in your sentence, ¿no? Si queremos que tenga un poco de sentido, le diríamos, would you mind helping me with the homework o my homework? ¿Sí? Podríamos ponerlo así, would you mind helping me with my homework? ¿No? Este help que hemos puesto aquí en paréntesis, en este instante lo estamos poniendo como nos dice o nos está explicando aquí la gramática, que debería ir con un gerund. That's why, es por eso que aquí aparece el helping. ¿Sí? Would you mind helping the kids? Would you mind helping my son or my daughter with the homework? Because maybe it's difficult, because maybe it's an English class and you are studying English, so you can help the person, right? ¿No? ¿Puedes ayudarme? ¿Te importaría ayudarme con la tarea? What about number 2? Okay, let me see if you have any doubts. Excellent. Would you mind helping me with my homework? Very good, Jamali. Huh? Okay, number 2. Would you mind behind you? And now we need to use close and door. Close door. Would you mind? No? For example, you are in a room and you are about to have a conference, or maybe you are about to have a meeting, and you ask the last person to enter into the room, ¿no? Y le pides esto a la última persona que ingresa a la habitación o al auditorio, ¿no? Would you mind? Excellent. Closing the door behind you, right? Closing the door behind you. Excellent. Entonces estamos cumpliendo nuestra regla, que es ponerlo en gerund, closing the door behind you. Recordando en este caso el would you mind, cuando le pido algo, we want the person we are talking to do something, ¿no? Te pido, estoy conversando ahorita contigo y te lo estoy pidiendo directamente a ti. Okay, what about number 3? Would you mind, ¿te importaría? Wait. Would you mind? Would you mind? Excellent. According to our explanation, it's would you mind waiting? Would you mind waiting for a moment? I'll be right back, ¿no? ¿Te importaría o les importaría esperar un momentito, no? Ya regreso. I'll be right back. ¿No? Regreso en unos minutitos. Excellent. Would you mind, number 4? Would you mind? Contorn. Would you mind? Excellent, Betty. Waiting for a moment. Turning. Would you mind turning? Would you mind turning down the volume a bit? It's a bit loud, right? Turn down es como un phrasal verb, ¿verdad? Estas dos palabras, este verbo y este preposición. Turn down es un phrasal verb que significa bajar. En este caso, ¿qué vamos a bajar? Podemos bajar el volumen de nuestra voz, podemos bajar el volumen del televisor, de la radio, ¿no? De los parlantes. Turn down the volume a bit, because it's a bit loud, ¿no? Porque está un poquito fuerte. So, and I cannot hear what the other person is telling me, ¿no? Y no le escucho lo que la otra persona me está diciendo. So, please turn it down a little bit, ¿no? Bájale un poquito. El volumen te importaría, ¿no? Would you mind turning down the volume? Okay, number 5. Would you mind send me the report by tomorrow? Would you mind sending? Excellent. Perfect. So this is practically the grammar we are going to learn today. Would you mind sending me, ing, sending me the report by tomorrow? Okay, try to make an effort. Maybe you have a lot of work to do, but try to send the report by tomorrow. What about number 6? Would you mind some groceries on your way home? And we need to use pick up. Pick up, it's another phrasal verb, right? Like turn down. Turn down is a phrasal verb. Pick up, it's another phrasal verb. So we are going to see that later. No, otro phrasal verb. ¿Cómo pondríamos el would you mind? Picking up. Very good. Would you mind picking up some groceries on your way home? Excelente, importaría comprar, ¿no? Pasar por el supermercado, por el market, and buy some groceries on your way home. Perfect. And what about number 7? Would you mind this document for me? Would you mind? Excellent. And what is the meaning of proofreading? When you see this verb, proofread, what is the meaning of that? What the other person needs to do? ¿Qué tienes que hacer cuando alguien te dice proofread? Don't worry, Marjorie. When your boss or your colleague asks you for proofread, what do you have to do? ¿Qué hacemos cuando alguien nos pide un proofread? Or what is the meaning of proofread? Any ideas? Excellent. Proofreading this document for me, ¿no? Como que revisarlo una vez más, ¿verdad? Proofreading, revisarlo, tratar de que no tenga errores y si han habido ciertas correcciones que sean corregidas al momento de hacer el proofread, que es como un editing, ¿no? Eso vendría a ser más el proofreading, ¿no? Would you mind proofreading this document for me? Excelente. Perfect. Corregir. Very good. Correct some mistakes that the document might have. Very good. Thank you so much for participating in the chat. And this slide, you have all the answers you have shared in the chat box. ¿Sí? En esta presentación están todas las respuestas que ustedes pusieron en el chat. Let's continue. Another usage of would you mind. Otro uso más de would you mind. Dice, we normally use would you mind, pero con una expresión ahora. If I. Would you mind if I? ¿Te importaría si yo? O any other subject, ¿no? O cualquier otra persona. But in this case, be careful, porque después que pones el if I, deberás usar, ya no usamos gerund, ahora vamos a usar el simple past. ¿Cuándo? When we want to do something. Cuando nosotros queremos hacer algo. Ahí usamos el would you mind. ¿Te importaría si yo? ¿No? Would you mind if I waited? ¿No? ¿Le importaría si yo espero? I want to wait. Is that okay for you? ¿No? Yo quiero esperar. ¿Le parece bien? ¿No? Entonces ahí usamos el if I. We can also use me en a gerund. También puedes usarlo con el me, pero al poner el me, regresamos a usar el gerund when we want to do something. Would you mind me waiting? Entonces, so we have two different ways of saying the same thing. You can say, would you mind if I, simple past, or would you mind me waiting? And they mean exactly the same, ¿no? Significan lo mismo, but with two different grammar, ¿no? Con dos formas gramaticales distintas. So let's practice this explanation. Let's practice with if. Would you mind if I? Let's do number one. And then we have the verb borrow. Would you mind if I your car for a quick errand? Okay, another piece of advice. Otro consejo. Si me dicen simple past, I have to be careful, right? Cuando me dicen simple past, siempre debo tener mucho cuidado. Why? Because simple past has regular and irregular verbs. And you know, I ask you to practice the verb in the third different columns, ¿no? In the three different columns. Debemos ya practicar constantemente los verbos en las tres columnas, present, past, and past participle. Especially the irregular ones, because the regular, like, they are commonly used and you get used to them. But the most difficult verbs to learn are irregular. So let's start, ¿sí? Empecemos practicando poco a poco esos verbos irregulares, ¿ok? So be careful about it. Borrow, on the other hand, it's regular, so don't worry about it. Borrow es un verbo regular, por lo tanto, deberá terminar. How? ¿Cómo? Excellent. Love answers. Yeah. Lovely answers. Borrowed. Excellent. With ED. Borrow. Would you mind if I borrow your car for a quick errand? Errand. What's the meaning of errand? Do you do errands during the day? I bet you are. You do. When somebody asks you or tells you about errands, what comes to your mind? Cuando escuchas esa palabrita, errand. What is the meaning of errand? Un préstamo, errand? Are you sure, Melanie? Excellent. Es un recado, un encargo, something that you, for example, picking up your children from school, taking a package to the post office, or sending a letter or an email to somebody. Exactly. Errands, como que recados, ¿no? Perfect. Number two, would you mind if I a photo of this beautiful scenery? What about number two? And this verb, take. That's what I say, right? You have to be careful with the verbs in simple past. For example, take. This is an irregular verbs. Take is an irregular verb. So how it's gonna be? Perfect. Took. If I took, would you mind if I took a photo of this beautiful scenery? Number three. Would you mind if I your computer for a few minutes? Would you mind if I your computer for a few minutes? Use will be use. Excellent. Only you add the letter D. Used. Perfect. According to our grammar point here, would you mind if I in simple past? What about number four? Number four, would you mind if I a friend over for dinner tomorrow? And we need to use the verb invite. Excellent. Invited. Good. If I invited a friend over for dinner tomorrow. Number 5. Would you mind if the window, it's a bit chilly. And then you have the verb close. Number 5, closed. Perfect. Okay, what about number 6? Let's continue, that's easy. Number 6, would you mind if I work a little early today? And you need to use leave. What's gonna be the answer for leave in past? Simple past. Perfect. This is an irregular verb. That's why you have written down in the chat left. Por eso la mayoría escribió left. Simple past. Number 7. Would you mind if I my dog to the picnic? And now you need to use bring. Would you mind if I my dog to the picnic? Excellent. Also, irregular verb. Totally change. Bring, transform into brought. And our last sentence. Would you mind if you at the same table join? Yes. ED, right? With ED. Correct. Thank you so much. On the next slide, you have the same answers that we have been writing down. Okay, next usage of would you mind. When we talk about third parties, when we ask on behalf of others, we can use both. Would you mind if he, she, they, and the simple past? And would you mind object pronoun gerund? Okay, we can use both ways. Like here. Let's share number 1. Number 1 says, ¿no? Cuando hablamos para terceras personas en nombre de otros, podemos usar las dos formas que hemos visto. El if con he, con she, con they y el pasado simple, o podemos regresar a la forma del object pronoun más el gerund. Okay. Would you mind if they? Cada vez que veamos el if, eso es ya simple past. Attended, very good. Attended the meeting. Number 2, would you mind if she? Okay, we see this verb in our previous slide. Would you mind if he? Also, we see this verb, use your laptop. What about number 4? Would you mind if they? at your place for the weekend? This is a regular verb, so it's also stay. Over here, 5, 6, 7, and 8 have the other grammar point, have the second grammar they mention right here. So I've considered the subject, she, he, they, and she again. But remember, these are the subjects. What you need to use here after would you mind is the object. ¿Sí? El object pronoun. So, what is the object pronoun of she? ¿Cuál es el objeto pronombre de she? Her. Very good. Her. Entonces, after number 5 says, would you mind her? Y lo que pusimos, lo que han puesto en el chat, bringing her kids to the party. This is what the grammar suggested us to do. Esto es lo que nos pide el grammar, ¿no? Ahí nos está diciendo. El object pronoun lo consideramos o lo usamos con her. And the other is the gerund. Bringing. Perfect. Let's work on number 6. Trabajemos number 6. Would you mind the project team? Ahora nos ha dado he. ¿Cuál es el object pronoun de he? ¿Y join cómo va? Excelente. El object pronoun de he es him. Him, very good. Him is over here. Him. And joining. Very good. Don't forget, object pronoun of he is him. What about number 7? Number 7, ahora me está diciendo they. Would you mind some photos during the event? El object pronoun de they y cómo va they. A ver. Perfect. Object pronoun of they is them. ¿Y cómo ponemos take? Con gerund. Taking. Remember, we need to drop the letter E for the gerund. And finally, number 8. Would you mind? Again, she and live. Excellent. Would you mind her and leaving? Leaving work a bit early today. Would you mind her leaving work a bit early today, no? ¿Le importaría que ella salga del trabajo un poco más temprano hoy? Maybe she has a meeting somewhere else. She has an appointment with the dentist. Her son is sick, or they have a meeting at school, something like that. She's gonna be leaving work early today. Perfect. So this is would you mind in a positive way. Here you can check your work. And let's practice the things that we have been explaining with would you mind. This is our first situation. Our first situation is you want the person you are speaking to open the window. So this is the request. Open the window. What will you say? ¿Qué le dirías a la persona con la que hablas? que haga, ¿cómo lo dirías? How can you say this in a polite way? Open the window. Ya, pero si decimos, would you mind if I, lo vas a hacer tú. Tú lo vas a hacer, ¿verdad? Porque le estás pidiendo permiso a la otra persona para que tú hagas esa acción. Pero ¿cómo se lo pides a otra persona? Tú directamente. Mm. Ya, a ver, vamos a explicar esa parte. Ok. Quedamos de que la frase es would you mind. Si quiero que lo haga la persona que me está escuchando, le digo would you mind y voy con el gerund. Opening the window. Would you mind opening the window? Estamos hablando A and B. A and B nos estamos mirando. We are having a conversation. Y siento que it's hot in here. Siento que está empezando a hacer calor. Entonces le pido a la persona que está más cercana o más cerca a la ventana. Would you mind opening the window? Eso es para que la persona con la que estás hablando haga la acción. Ahora, si tú la quieres hacer, if you want to do the action, ahí dirías de una forma distinta. Le dirías, would you mind if I open the window? Mira, son dos cosas distintas. Una, le pides a la persona con la que estás conversando. Y otra, tú tomas la iniciativa de hacerlo. ¿Por qué? Porque ya, bueno, it's really hot in here, so I'm going to open the window. ¿Sí? A ver, let me know if that's clear. A ver, ahora, veamos este escenario. La persona que lo va a hacer, Jeru. Si usted lo quiere hacer, if I. ¿Ya? A ver, con la number 2. You want to make a cup of tea. Tú quieres hacer una taza de té. You want to make a cup of tea. ¿Cómo lo dirías? Excellent. Perfect. I may. Very good, Nixon. Yeah. Exactly. That's the grammar on this part with would you mind. Would you mind if I made a cup of tea? Ajá. Recordemos que si voy a usar el if, tiene que ponerlo en pasado, simple past. Por eso ese make se ha convertido en made. Would you mind if I made a cup of tea? Perfect. Ahora, next, third situation. You want the person you are speaking to make you a cup of tea. To make you a cup of tea. Le estás pidiendo a alguien que haga la taza de café para ti. Sorry, la taza de té. Okay, a ver, think about it. Let me see your answers. Excellent. Would you mind if you made me a cup of tea, or would you mind making me a cup of tea? Perfect. Very good. Oh, it doesn't allow that. Okay, would you mind making me a cup of tea? Correct. Mhm. Excellent answer. Let's work on number 4. You want the person you're speaking to give you a newspaper. To give you a newspaper. Mhm. Excellent. Would you mind passing me the newspaper? Would you mind giving me a newspaper? Excellent answer. Mhm. That's correct. Number 5. Number 5 says you want to take a shower. You want to take a shower. What will you say? Excellent, Angie. Thanks for the correction. Mhm. Perfect. Every time you use if, you need to use the simple past. Would you mind if I took a shower? Excellent. What about number 6? Number 6 says you want to use the computer of the person you are speaking to. You want to use the computer. Excellent. Would you mind letting me to use your computer? Would you mind if I use your computer? Perfect. Nice answers. Very good. Would you mind if I use computer? Perfect. What about number 7? Someone else. Someone else. Could be he, could be she, could be they. Wants to watch TV. Wants to watch TV. Wants to watch TV. Mhm. Would you mind if could be como el grammar que vimos en que usábamos un object pronoun? ¿Se acuerdan? Como dice alguien más, quizás mi hermana. Entonces, quizás mi hermana quiere ver la tele. Pides permiso para ella, ¿no? Would you mind her watching TV? ¿No? Alguien más, not you. Would you mind her? Would you mind him? Would you mind them? Maybe los niños. Would you mind them watching TV? ¿No? Alguien más wants to watch TV. Someone else wants to make a cup of tea. Wants to make a cup of tea. Excellent. Would you mind him making a cup of tea? Would you mind him making a cup of tea? Correct. Number 9. You want to eat some fruit. You want to eat some fruit. Very good, Nixon. Would you mind if I ate an apple? Mhm. Would you mind if I ate an apple? Or we can say some fruit without mentioning the type of fruit you're gonna eat, right? Just some fruit. And the last one, you want the person you are speaking to post a letter. To post a letter. Excellent. Would you mind if I ate strawberry? Would you mind if I ate? Don't forget ever. Recuerden que cuando usamos el if, tenemos que usar el verbo en simple past. Excellent, Nixon. Would you mind posting a letter? No se olviden el grammar. Cuando uso if, debo usar simple past. Perfect. And the last is, would you mind? Would you mind posting, right? Would you mind posting a letter? Excellent. Excellent. Would you mind if I posted a letter? Ajá. Cada vez que uso el if, voy a tener que usar simple past. ¿Ya? Very good. Okay, let's continue. In this part, hemos visto would you mind. In our next slide, vamos a ver ahora el would you mind en negative. Que vamos a agregar la partícula not. Would you mind not? Es exactamente the same thing that we have learned in the previous slides. Es lo mismo que hemos aprendido en las presentaciones anteriores, pero lo vamos a hacer en negative, ¿ya? Tienen la misma intención, dice, we normally use, no vamos a cambiar esto, sino es igual. We normally use el would you mind not con el gerund when we want the person we are talking to not do something. For example, would you mind not waiting? ¿No? ¿Por qué? Porque le digo, I don't want you to wait. ¿Sí? No deseo que espere. ¿Sí? ¿Le importaría si no espera? No quiero que espere. Porque no va a llegar, porque ya vamos a cerrar, porque es tarde. So, would you mind not waiting? Please come back tomorrow, ¿no? Venga de nuevo mañana. Or any other excuses, right? Or responses. In this part, it says, would you mind during the movie? Okay, this is normally, right? Because when you are in a movie, you are supposed not to do this. Or at least if you do it, you need to do it in a quiet voice so that you cannot disturb the other who are trying to listen to and enjoy the movie. So, would you mind during the movie? How can you complete this sentence? Remember, not talking. Excellent. Would you mind not talking? No le pongamos el not con pasado, sino como nos dice aquí, el not acompañado del gerund. Not talking. Okay, as I said, if you are gonna talk, try to do it in a quiet voice. Not talking. Would you mind not talking during the movie? What about number 2? Would you mind? Also, another rule of thumb when you are in a library, you are supposed not to do this. Would you mind your phone in the library? It's quite similar to the situation like you do in the movies. Excellent. Not using. Not using. Would you mind not using? Like this is kind of behaviors, right? That you can have or don't do in particular places. Would you mind not using your phone in the library? What about the other one? Would you mind pets into the restaurant? Another common situation that you have to avoid, right? Tenemos que evitar hacerlo, ¿no? Into the restaurant, that will be not bringing. Excellent. Would you mind not bringing? Not bringing pets into the restaurant. Another. Smoke, number 4. Would you mind? Would you mind? Not smoking in this area. Excellent. What about number 5? Would you mind? Not taking. Perfect. Would you mind not taking photograph? This is some museums do not allow people to take photographs, but some other museums might ask you, let you take photographs. Number 6, would you mind? Loud music after 10 p.m. 6, 7, and 8. What is the answer? Not playing. Not playing, not leaving. Very good. Not playing loud music. Not leaving your belongings unattended. And also not bringing. Would you mind not bringing outside food into the conference room? ¿No? Que no traigas comida, que no ingresen con comida. In certain places, you are not allowed to do that, right? Y también cuando llevas objetos valiosos, tratar de no dejarlos en cualquier lugar o desatendidos, because you can be, they can be stolen, ¿no? Pueden ser robados o they can get lost, se pueden perder. So, this is el would you mind, ¿no? Te recuerdan algo y en negativo, que no lo tienes que hacer. So, then you have here the answers. And also the situations that we have been working on, ¿no? Las mismas situaciones con las que hemos estado trabajando, but in negative. For example, aquí vimos que normalmente estábamos usando el would you mind con el if. Remember, ¿se acuerdan que lo estuvimos usando con el I, he, she y they? y lo usamos con el pasado. Tenemos que seguir haciéndolo. Pero como es negativo, vamos a usar el auxiliary in past. ¿Y cuál es el auxiliar en past? El didn't. Y cuando usamos el didn't, ya el verbo, sea regular o irregular, has to be in the infinitive form, in the base form. ¿Sí? Entonces, take a look at this example so that you can know what I'm talking about, ¿no? Para que comprendamos mejor lo que estamos diciendo. El would you mind y las otras expresiones con los sujetos dice, por ejemplo, if I didn't wait. Would you mind if I didn't wait? Would you mind if he didn't wait? ¿No? Entonces, no queremos que nadie espere, ni yo, ni él, ni ella, ni ellos, didn't wait. Solamente estamos cambiándolo ahora en negative. Y nos va a ayudar nuestro auxiliar en past, didn't. Yes. Entonces, ahí está apareciendo el didn't. Lo vuelvo a marcar. ¿Ya? Ahora vamos a ver el ejemplo. Would you mind, number one, would you mind if she, muy bien, lo ponemos aquí, she, if she didn't attend, ¿sí? Ya quedamos que si uso el didn't, ya ese attend no cambia. Would you mind if she didn't attend the meeting tomorrow? No. Segunda, number two. Would you mind if he didn't help with the moving process? ¿Sí? A ver, let's do it number three. A ver, ustedes, number three. Would you mind if in the team building exercise, yes, they participate? ¿Cómo sería number three? Excellent. Ajá. They didn't participate. Sí, puede ser he, pero acá como ya les puse el sujeto, nos quedamos con they. They didn't participate. Very good. In the team building exercise. Any subject is correct. Number four, would you mind if I didn't complete the assignment on time? Number five, would you mind the fundraising event? She contributes. If she didn't contribute. Very good. Excellent. Would you mind if she didn't contribute to the fundraising event? Excellent. Number six, would you mind if he didn't join? What about number seven? Would you mind if in the volunteer activity they take part? Fundraising event, un evento para recaudar fondos. Fundraising event. Como las colectas. Okay, number seven. Ya dijimos, ¿no? If they didn't take part. And last one, would you mind to the event this weekend? Didn't go. Would you mind if we didn't go to the event this week? Check your work right here. And así como hemos visto el would you mind con el if, también está la otra opción. Dice, también podemos usar los objects y el gerund, como lo hemos visto en el ejercicio anterior y como está aquí también en este example in blue. Would you mind? Y ahí están los gerunds, que normalmente están considerados como el subject pronoun de I, me, de he, de she, her, de he, him, de they, them. Y solo estamos agregando el negative. Not waiting. Would you mind me not waiting? Would you mind her not waiting? Would you mind them not waiting? ¿No? Y el que les estaba diciendo también en el caso de he, him. Yeah. And over here, you have different examples of this explanation. Would you mind me not attending the meeting tomorrow? Ahí está la gramática con los object pronouns. Y si es el object pronouns, va con el gerund. Si es con el if, tengo que usar en este caso el if, el subject, el didn't y el infinitive. ¿Ya? Acá tenemos more examples. Would you mind them not participating in the team building exercise? Would you mind him not joining us for dinner tonight? And the last one, would you mind us not going to the event this weekend? For example, este subject pronoun que tenemos aquí, este object pronoun que tenemos aquí, us, representa al subject, we, ¿verdad? Está representando a we. ¿Sí? Eso es solamente lo que hemos estado explicando today. En negativo, el would you mind en negativo. Le importaría no hacer eso, ¿no? Because in certain places they are going to ask you that, ¿no? En algunos lugares te van a decir, no fume, no traiga mascotas, no use su celular, and things like that. And they are going to say it in a polite way. Y lo van a decir de una forma educada. And that's why they are using would you mind. Y por eso están usando esta frase, polite, would you mind. ¿Ya? Entonces vamos a practicar ahora negative with these examples. You want the person you are speaking to not open the window, que no abra la ventana, porque ahora ya no es it's hot, it's cold. Ya no hace calor, cambió el clima. Ahora it's really, really, really cold outside and inside. So you don't want this to happen. So, ¿le dirías? Excellent. Very good. That's the request. Would you mind? Le digo, would you mind not opening the window? It's cold inside. Very good. You don't want to go to work. No. Sometimes that happens. Yes or no? I think. Algunas veces decimos esto, ¿no? I don't want to go to work today. Because Maybe you are tired because you didn't sleep well the night before, so you feel tired and you rather be at home than at work. You don't want to work to work. What will you say? Excellent. Would you mind me not going to work today? Uh-huh. If you are lucky, your boss will say, that's okay, take the day off. That's just a dream. Would you mind me not going to work? Mhm. Or maybe you are really ill, o tú estás realmente enfermo, delicado, and you call your boss and you say, would you mind me not going to work today? I don't feel really well. I've got the flu, I have a headache, or I've got a fever, things like that, right? Number 3, you want the person you are speaking to not to leave. A la persona con la que estás hablando le estás pidiendo que no se vaya, que no salga, not to leave. What would you say? Excellent. Would you mind not leaving? You can say also, would you mind not leaving the conference room? Would you mind not leaving the ceremony? 4, you want the person you're speaking to not to sit down in that chair. Not to sit down in that chair, maybe because it's for a special person or guest, and maybe it's for the CEO of the company, of the chairman, things like that. So it's very important not to use that chair. Excellent. Would you mind not sitting down in that chair? Thank you, Anadela. Ellie also, would you mind not sitting down in that chair? Very good. It's for a special person. You don't want to cook dinner. No quieres cocinar. You don't want to cook dinner. You are in the mood of going out or eating out. Hoy sientes ganas de salir a cenar. You don't want to cook dinner. What will you say? Excellent. Would you mind me not cooking dinner? Would you mind us not cooking dinner today? Very good. We are going to eat out. Perfect. What about this? You don't want to use the computer of the person you are speaking to. Excellent. Would you mind me not using your computer? Very good. Mhm. Someone else, 7, someone else doesn't want to clean the house. Someone else doesn't want to clean the house. Él o ella o ellos no quieren limpiar la casa. Doesn't want to clean the house. Would you mind her not cleaning the house? Very good. Would you mind her not cleaning the house? Someone else doesn't want to make a cup of tea. Someone else doesn't want to make a cup of tea. So you will say, would you, I'm sorry. Would you mind him not making a cup of tea? You don't want to eat lunch because you have already eaten your lunch, or because you are feeling ill, you have a stomachache, or you are feeling ill. So you will say, would you mind me not eating lunch? And what about number 10? You want the person you're speaking to not to post that letter. Very good. Next one. Will you mind not posting that letter? Would you mind not posting that letter? Very good. Thank you so much for all the answers that you have shared. So now, let's take a look at this situation. Take a look at the picture. I want you to, what is happening here? And we are going to answer these 3 questions. And also, you are going to tell me, what do you think about this expression? First question, what's the little boy doing? What is this little boy right here doing? What do you see? What is he doing? What is the little boy doing? ¿Qué está haciendo este pequeño niño? In the picture. Over here. Pushing the car. Very good. He's pushing the car. So what is wrong with the car? What's wrong with this car? What's happening? Yeah, the engine is having troubles. It's not working. Very good. The car is not working. It's not moving. It's broken down. Then, why is the man talking to the old lady? Why is he saying this? Do you think you could give me a push? Why is the man talking to the old lady? Oh, excellent. The tire went flat. Yeah. Apparently, this guy over here inside the car is asking the old lady to help this little boy so that the car can move. Do you think that's gonna be possible? ¿Creen que esta ancianita puede ayudar a mover el carro? No, right. It's impossible. Excellent. It makes no sense. Exactly. He needs to look for another kind of help. Calling a tow and that's it, ¿no? Llamar una grúa and that's it. Solve the problem. Very good. Okay. We are going to change these requests using our situation. But before that, here we have 5 different situations. I want you to try to change each one of these in a more polite way. Con lo que hemos aprendido hoy, que es el would you mind. A ver, acá dice, can you close the door? Can you close the door? Otra forma educada de hacerlo. El number 2, the same. Todas debemos cambiarlas, pero usando nuestra frase del día de hoy, que fue, o que es, would you mind. A ver, cambiemos nuestras 5 phrases. Excelente, no se olvide, cuando usamos el would you mind, tenemos que usar el gerund. Ajá, no olvidemos cómo poner ese close. ¿Sí? Acuérdese. Esa es la variante que hemos visto hoy. Si trabajamos con would you mind, vamos a ver. Si vamos a trabajar con would you mind, ¿cómo vamos a poner ese close? Would you mind closing? Closing the door. No olvidemos nuestra forma en la que debe ir esa frase. El would you mind. Ya. La siguiente expresión. Do you think you could meet me after school? Do you think you could meet me after school? Uh-huh. Would you mind meeting me after school? Esa es una. Otra que leí que pusieron es con el if. Would you mind if she met me after school? Could be. ¿Sí? Muy bien. Siguiente pedido. Could you possibly lend me $10? Otro pedido con would you mind. Very good. Would you mind lending me $10? Correct. Number 4, another request. Will it be possible for you to help me with the homework? Excellent, Angela. Would you mind if you help me with the homework? Mhm. Number 5, another request. I was wondering if you could possibly take me to the airport tomorrow. Mhm. Excellent, Angela. Would you mind? Would you mind taking me to the airport tomorrow? Very good. On this slide, en esta presentación estamos viendo diferentes formas de hacer pedidos con esta frase, con el would you mind, que puede ser con el can you, con la otra expresión do you think you could you possibly, would it be possible for you to, I was wondering if you could possibly. Todas estas, las 5 que vemos aquí en el cuadradito azul, pueden ser reemplazadas por el would you mind. No solamente podemos decir would you mind, sino podemos usar variantes, ¿no? Variations of requests. Lo importante es aprender las frasecitas que voy a utilizar para reemplazar ese would you mind. Ya. Así como hemos visto estas variantes, aquí vemos una situación, le dice,
Joey, would you mind turning down the volume? Not at all. Could you possibly clean your room this afternoon?
Sorry, but I have to go to soccer practice.
Well, do you think you could do it after dinner?
Sure, no problem.
Hay 3 pedidos que le hacen, ¿no? Would you mind, como hemos visto en la clase de hoy, el would you mind está cumpliendo su regla, su grammar, turning down the rule, o the volume, ¿no? Turning down the volume, que es con gerund. La expresión que vimos anteriormente, el could you possibly, normal, clean your room this afternoon, y la otra expresión que también la vimos hoy, do you think you could do it after dinner? ¿No? ¿En qué nos enfocamos ahorita? En las respuestas. Mire cómo está respondiendo cuando me dice el would you mind. Not at all. ¿No? Would you mind turning down the volume? Not at all. No, para nada. Sí lo puedo hacer. Could you possibly clean your room this afternoon? ¿No? ¿Cómo le responde? No va a poder hacerlo. Por eso le dice, sorry, but I have to go to soccer practice. Uy, lo siento. No puedo limpiar mi habitación porque voy a tener práctica de fútbol. Well, do you think you could do it after dinner? Ok, ya comprendo. I understand you have some things to do in the afternoon, but you can do it at night or in the evening, ¿no? Lo puede hacer en la noche y ahí sí le responde, ¿no? De manera positiva y le dice, sure, no problem. Entonces, cuando nos hacen un request, puedo responder de forma positive o de forma negative, ¿no? Como lo estamos viendo. Not at all es para nada, no te preocupes. No me causa ningún problema hacerlo. I can do it.
Joey, would you mind turning down the volume?
Aquí tenemos diferentes situaciones que le han pedido a Joy hacer, ¿no? Como mow the grass, ¿no? Cortar el césped, take out the garbage, and also sweep the floor. Y, por ejemplo, si acá nos dice turning down the volume, pues vamos a elegir una de estas tres para cambiar de situation, ¿no? Le cambiamos esta situación que tiene Joe. Lo mismo en la tercera. Ya no va a ser clean your room, sino another situation that we can choose here from the pictures. And also over here, en vez de decirle after dinner, maybe we can share or change the command. Le podemos cambiar, ¿no? Do it early in the morning, before going to bed, things like that. ¿Sí? A ver, ¿cómo? Elijamos number one. Vamos a elegir la primera, esta que está aquí. Que corte el césped. ¿Cómo le diríamos con would you mind? Joy, would you mind? Excellent. Joy, would you mind mowing the grass? Si lo quieres hacer y estás disponible para hacerlo, le dices not at all. O puedes decirle sorry, but I have to study. Sorry, but I have a swimming lesson or a guitar lesson, anything, right? Muy bien. Entonces, that's the intention. The intention is, how can we answer these parts? Now we are going to listen to a story called, ya vamos a ver en un momentito cómo responder esos diferentes pedidos, requests, ¿ya? Vamos a tener un grammar o una explanation about this. Reading time, the wacky world of would you mind. Vamos a leer un poquito. While you listen, try to follow the story. ¿Sí? Mientras escuchamos, seguimos la historia.
Reading time, the wacky world of would you mind. Once upon a time, in the quirky town of Politenessville, everyone spoke in the most polite and humorous manner possible. People there had a special way of making requests using the magical phrase, would you mind? One day, two friends named Polly and Pete decided to explore this unique town and experience its delightful customs. Polly and Pete strolled through Politenessville's cheerful streets, where even the flowers said please when they wanted sunlight. As they reached the town square, they noticed a peculiar sight, a talking cat wearing a top hat. "Excuse me, dear feline friend," said Polly with a smile. "Would you mind sharing the secret to your dapper style?"
Okay. What is the name of the town? ¿Sí se escuchó la historia o no? Please let me know. Yes, okay. What is the name of the town? Politenessville. Very good. Politenessville. Everybody says yes or ask for permission in a polite way, using the phrase, would you mind? Let's continue the reading.
The cat tipped its hat and replied, "Not at all, my fine friends. It's a mix of catwalk fashion and a sprinkle of personal charm." As Polly and Pete continued their adventure, they encountered a mischievous talking mailbox. Pete, being the curious one, couldn't resist asking, "Would you mind telling us your favorite letter?" The mailbox giggled and confessed, "I'm a big fan of P for politeness and M for mailbox mischief." Their journey led them to the town bakery, where a singing bread loaf welcomed them. Polly, feeling hungry, asked, "Would you mind serenading us with your favorite tune?" The cat tipped its hat and replied, "Not at all, my fine friends. The bread loaf burst into a melodious song about the joy of sharing pastries and warm hugs. Polly and Pete joined in, creating an impromptu bakery band that entertained the entire town. As evening approached, they stumbled upon a wise old tree with spectacles. Intrigued, Pete inquired, "Would you mind sharing your wisdom, O knowledgeable tree?" The tree nodded and shared, "In this town, kindness grows as strong as branches, and laughter is the sweetest fruit." Polly and Pete realized that in Politenessville, every request, no matter how peculiar, was met with a smile and a willingness to share joy. They returned home, bringing with them the enchanting tales of Politenessville and the magic of "Would you mind?" And so, in the town of Politenessville, the tradition of making funny and polite requests continued, ensuring that every day was filled with laughter, warmth, and the delightful phrase, "Would you mind?" The bread loaf burst into a melodious...
Okay. Based on this story, tell me, what wisdom does the tree share? ¿Qué sabiduría o qué conocimiento les compartió el árbol? Any ideas, no? From the story? What do you like most about the story? Los que leímos la historia, ¿qué nos gustó o nos llamó la atención más? Over here, in this part, Pete, who's over here? Pete inquire or ask, would you mind sharing your wisdom? Tree, ¿no? Que les comparta su sabiduría o su conocimiento. Y the tree nodded and shared, ¿no? El árbol accedió y compartió. This is the knowledge. And he says, in this town, in Politenessville, kindness grows as strong as branches, and laughter is the sweetest fruit. So this is like the message, right? Ser amables y siempre sonreír. So Polly and Peter realized that in politenessville, every request, no matter how peculiar, was met with a smile and a willingness to share joy. That's the important message of this story. Okay, so now, as I was saying, I'm going to share with you these other expressions of would you mind. Estas son las otras expresiones que les estaba mencionando del would you mind, ¿no? For example, one student says, do you think you could feed the cat? ¿Sí? ¿Crees que o piensas que podrías alimentar a mi gato o el gato? Sure, I'd be glad to. Claro, seguro. Me encantaría, ¿no? Estaría contento de hacerlo. I'd be glad to. Or another situation. Could you possibly pick me up later? ¿No? ¿Podrías tú posiblemente recogerme un poquito más tarde? Entonces, acá sí ya es complicado quizás por la hora y le dices, I'm afraid I can't. I have to go to the library. Si ves, me temo que no lo voy a poder hacer. Tengo que irme a la biblioteca. I have to go to the library. Entonces, on this part, hemos visto todas estas expresiones aquí. Can you, could you, las vimos. Can, could you, do you think you could you possibly, will it be possible for you to, I was wondering if you could possibly, and el would you mind. Cada una, a excepción del would you mind, están llevando el verbo en la forma normal. El would you mind lo está llevando en gerund, que es lo que hemos aprendido. Y si vemos un poquito a la derecha, están las respuestas a cada uno de esos pedidos que nos hagan, requests. Puede ser yes o puede ser no, ¿no? Porque no siempre vamos a aceptar hacer algo porque con nuestro horario, por cuestión de tiempo o porque ya tenemos una agenda, ¿no? Una agenda. Entonces, para decir positive, yes, podríamos decir nuestro simple sure, ¿sí? Seguro. Cuenta conmigo, ¿no? Sure. O también, of course. Or podríamos decirle, I'd be glad to. ¿Sí? O el simple también, no problem. No problem, don't worry, I will do it. ¿Sí? En el caso del would you mind, me están dando dos respuestas positivas. Not at all. ¿No? O no, not at all. Estoy aceptando. Cuando es negative, ahora sí dice. Le explicas, ¿no? Y le dices, I'm sorry. Lo siento. But I'm very busy. I have to work. I have already made plans. Ya hice planes. Sorry. ¿No? I wish I could. ¿No? Desearía poder hacerlo, pero, and you explain the thing. I like to, but, I'm afraid I can't. Ahí tienes 4 opciones de forma formal, ¿no? In a polite way, to reject the request, para rechazar el pedido que te están haciendo, ¿no? En ese momento. I'm sorry, but I wish I could, but I like to, but I'm afraid I can't. Ahí queda. Me temo que no puedo. I'm busy, I have to work, I have to study, I have plans. Ya tienes tus planes, ¿no? No los puedes cambiar, sorry. Entonces, son otras formas de trabajar también el would you mind, ¿ya? Las pueden practicar. ¿No? Acá hay una explicación del que hemos estado viendo, el can you, el could you, que es una pregunta más directa, ¿no? De pedirle a alguien que tiene la habilidad de hacerlo. O es una forma, el could you es una forma educada de pedirle a alguien si tiene o está dispuesto a hacerlo. Es un poquito más formal que el can you. Do you think you could, que es crees que podrías, ¿no? Esta expresión le agrega un elemento de duda, doubt or uncertainty. No estás seguro de que lo vaya a hacer, ¿sí? Por eso, ¿crees que podrías? Do you think you could? Could you possibly, podrías posiblemente, por ahí como que, this is a very polite and indirect way of asking someone if they can do something. It suggests that the request might be difficult or inconvenient for the person because maybe it's a last time notice, no, esa última hora, y entonces como que le dices, podrías posiblemente, could you possibly pick up my son from school? No, y te va a decir, sorry, I can't, I have to go somewhere else, ¿no? Ya queda en ti, pues, porque lo has pedido a última hora. Y las siguientes dice, will it be possible for you? ¿Sería posible para ti? Similar al could you possibly, pero esta expresión seeks to know if something is within the realm of possibility for the person. Estás buscando aquí ver si es que algo está dentro de la posibilidad de la persona. Me preguntaba si podrías realmente. I was wondering if you could possibly. Polite and indirect of making a request. De nuevo, the speaker is uncertain. El que habla está inseguro, no está tan convencido. If the request can be fulfilled. Si es que su pedido va a ser cumplido. Por eso me preguntaba. I was wondering. I'm not sure about this. Y la última que vimos, ¿no? El would you mind is used to ask someone if they will find it bothersome or inconvenient to do something. If often used to make polite requests, ¿no? ¿Cuáles serían las diferencias del would you mind con las 6 expresiones que hemos visto? Es similar to the other expressions in terms of politeness. Es similar si hablamos en términos de educación, ¿no? O de formalidad. It especially asks if the person will find the action bothersome. Específicamente nos preguntan si es que la persona va a encontrar el pedido o el request un poco incómodo, ¿no? Como que quizás sale de sus planes. Entonces las otras expresiones se enfocan más en pedir si la persona es capaz o está dispuesta a hacerlo. Sin directamente, ¿no? Addressing the potential inconvenience, sin decirle realmente que estás como que invadiendo su espacio. That would be the difference between these expressions and would you mind itself. Yeah. Let's continue. Aquí vamos a elegir dos cosas que queremos que mi compañero no haga. That you do not want to do for your partner. Sí, 2 cosas que no queremos hacer. Tenemos 12 cositas. A ver, elijamos solo 2. And think of a reason. Sí, entonces, haces la pregunta en the answer, ¿no? Haces el pedido y la respuesta de por qué te vas a negar a hacerlo. ¿Sí? Así como hemos visto en las opciones que estábamos dando aquí, en esta parte las respuestas en negativo. Ahí explicas, I'm sorry, I wish I could, I like to, I'm afraid I can't. Y me explicas por qué no puedes hacer el pedido que te estoy haciendo. A ver, vamos a ver. Ahí tenemos. La primera dice, close the window. Take out the garbage. Cut your hair. Feed your pet. Do the dishes. Take you to the airport. Answer the phone. Make a cup of coffee. turn off the TV, hang up the clothes, play the piano, turn off the lights. A ver, ¿cuál de ellas le vas a pedir? Podemos practicar con dos. Let's practice with two. Recuerda, vamos a hacer la pregunta y la respuesta, que va a ser en negativa. Exactly. Can you cut my hair? No, I can't. I have to work. Very good. Okay, let's continue. Very good, Angie. Would you mind turning off the lights? No, I can't. I'm far from the lights. Yeah. Very good. I was wondering if you could possibly cut my hair. I'm not sure because I'm not instructed for this. No, I can't. I have to work. Very good. Would you mind doing the dishes? I'm busy right now. Very good. Very good. One more sentence. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Thank you very much for participating in this slide. Okay, let's continue with this. Match the dialogues. Match the dialogues with the pictures. And also, after you match the dialogue with the pictures, I want you to write the request for each dialogue. The request. Number one, this conversation is between Estela and Lisa. Estela has to make the request. Estela es la que va a hacer el pedido. Para que... Y Lisa le responde, I'm in the kitchen and my hands are full right now, Estela. Can you get it? Oh, all right. But it's probably for you. ¿Qué pedido le pudo haber hecho Estela a Lisa? A ver, what is the request in number one? Very good. Can you answer the phone? Very good. Podríamos ponerla acá. Can you answer the phone? Or también con la frase que aprendimos hoy. Would you mind answering the phone? It's the only difference, right? Es la única diferencia, ¿no? Cuando usamos el can, verbo in infinitive, normal base, In would you mind, ponemos Jerome, ¿no? Would you mind answering the phone? I'm in the kitchen and my hands are full right now, Stella. Can you get it? Oh, all right, but it's probably for you. ¿No? Quizás siempre la llaman a Lisa. Okay, very good. So that thing, it's gonna be with this, right? This is number 1. Request number 2. Professor Hall and Anne Mary. Yes, Anne Mary, what is it? Anne Mary makes a request. Professor Hall answered, of course, I'll be in my office after 3. And Mary answers back, great, thank you. I'll come at 3:30. What's the request? What can you make up? ¿Qué pueden hacer? A ver, ¿qué pedido ha hecho en Mary? Yeah, okay, very good. Now, over here, estamos aquí en esta presentación de el profesor Hall y su estudiante en Mary. ¿Qué pedido podemos hacer? Okay, let me see. Excellent. Perfect. Good answer. Would you mind going over the task again? Would you mind going over the task again, or the homework, or the assignment, something that the professor has left and you can understand? No, algo que ha dejado el profesor y no entendiste. Entonces le pide que le vuelva a explicar. Very good, excellent. So that's with this, I think, right? That's gonna be number 2. Perfect. What about this conversation between Jack and Jill? Jack says, I'm going to the store, Jill. Need anything? Jill makes a request. Jack asks again, what kind do you want? Jill says, oh, it doesn't matter. Just get a large one. What is the request from Jill? Could you bring me to space? Can you get me to space? Would you mind buying a toothpaste? Could you possibly buy toothpaste? Very good. Excellent. Okay, let's see your answers. Would you mind, buying something? Don't forget, every time we use would you mind, our class from today is with the gerund. Would you mind buying a toothpaste? Would you mind buying a toothpaste? O lo que hemos visto también puede ser, could you buy a toothpaste? Excellent. And our last conversation, okay, this is gonna be with this part, right? And this is gonna be number 3. So we only have one more picture left. That's gonna be our fourth conversation between Mom and Tommy. Mom says she's gonna ask or makes a request. Tommy answers, but I just woke him an hour ago. Mom replies, that was more like 3 hours ago. And anyway, he wants to go out. Tom says, oh, okay. Here, boy, let's go. Okay, what is the request from Mom? Excellent. Nice answer. I love that. Very, very polite, right? I was wondering if you could possibly, right? I was wondering if you could possibly take the dog for a walk. That's gonna be one way with the expressions that we have learned today. I was wondering if you could possibly. And the base form, take the dog out for a walk. Or what we learned with would you mind? Would you mind taking the dog out for a walk? It's exactly the same thing, right? But I just walked him an hour ago. I was wondering if you could possibly take the dog out for a walk. Good. So, and this is gonna be with the picture of the little dog, and that's gonna be our last exercise, number 4. Claps for you for participating in the class, for being so active, for paying attention to everything I've said. And also over here, you have different resources, 2 resources that you can use to improve, practice, and review today's topic. Okay, so thank you so much for your participation in this session. So I can share with you the link. If you don't have the link, I'm gonna share with you so that we can see. Would you mind? Es como una, repartimos, es como que requests, ¿verdad? Acá nos reparten, dice, you want to change a doctor's appointment time. What's the request you're gonna make? Here on this presentation about the game, would you mind? Is they show you a situation and you practice giving the answer with would you mind. You want to change a doctor's appointment? Would you mind changing my appointment? Thank you so much to all of you. And we will see again on Thursday for our last session. Okay, so review all the classes that we have been having so far. Miss Mónica, are you there?
Muchísimas gracias, maestra Jenny. Muchísimas gracias, maestra Jenny, por la clase impartida. Fue una excelente clase, estimados participantes. Felicitarles a cada uno de ustedes por haber culminado nuestra tercera sesión de clase. Asimismo, invitarles a seguir, que ya contamos con más de 40 cursos gratuitos habilitados para el mes de marzo. Por favor, aprovecha al máximo y pueden invitar a sus amigos, familiares o amistades. O si no, para mayor información, por favor, comunicarse con el siguiente número que está en la pantallita para poderlos ayudar a cada uno de ustedes. Asimismo, mencionarles que para este año tenemos una meta de llegar a los 100,000 seguidores en nuestra página del Facebook. Por favor, síguenos para que también usted pueda estar pendiente de los cursos que impartimos mes a mes en nuestra institución. Comunicado importante, ojito aquí, nuestra institución no hace llamadas ni tampoco envía mensajes personales. Quien les habla, quien les saluda, soy la asistente académica Mónica Costa, quien les estará acompañando en el curso. Para cualquier duda, consulta o dificultad, por favor comunicarse con mi persona, con el siguiente número que está en la pantallita para poderlos ayudar a cada uno de ustedes. El día de hoy nos ha impartido una hermosa clase y también su conocimiento es la maestra Jenny. Asimismo, aprovecho a hacer el reconocimiento a la maestra que va impartiendo su conocimiento en nuestra institución. Por favor, no falten a nuestra última sesión de clase, que es el día jueves. Sí, frecuencia martes y jueves, horario de 4 a 6 de la tarde. Tendremos 2 semanas de nuestra capacitación. Asimismo, por favor, les recomiendo que tomemos una foto o una captura del temario para que tengamos en cuenta los temas que estaremos aprendiendo el día jueves. Sobre nuestra metodología, recuerda que la clase es en vivo y asimismo es grabada, se enviará a su grupo de WhatsApp para que usted pueda repasar y poner en práctica. Los materiales, los videos, toda la información se envían a su grupo de WhatsApp. Al finalizar el curso, usted dará un examen para que pueda tramitar su certificado de manera opcional. Al finalizar el curso, usted obtendrá un certificado con mención en inglés intermedio B2 a nombre de nuestra institución. Y recuerde que el certificado sale con 90 horas académicas. Si usted pregunta, señorita, ¿por qué sale con 90 horas académicas? Sale porque cuando usted va a tramitar tendrá como regalo el campus virtual habilitado por más de 2 años. Como estaremos en contacto, por esa razón sale con 90 horas académicas. Para que usted pueda tramitar, tiene que tener una nota mayor e igual a 14. Los participantes que van a tramitar tendrá como regalo el campus virtual. En el campus virtual usted va a encontrar materiales, videos y recursos adicionales habilitados por más de 2 años, habilitado 24/7. Y también recuerda que el certificado cuenta con un sistema de código de validación, que es el código QR y código único de registro. El costo es muy simbólico, de 30 soles. Es para mantener sostenible nuestra institución y para seguir brindando más cursos gratuitos. El trámite es opcional, pero como institución le recomendamos que tramiten su certificado. Recuerda que el certificado avala tu conocimiento. Para mayor información, por favor, comunicarse con el siguiente número que está en la pantallita para poderlos ayudar a cada uno de ustedes. Asimismo, hacemos envíos a nivel nacional de manera digital. Ojito aquí, nuestra institución le va a enviar un enlace de nuestro sistema para que usted pueda ingresar y descargue su certificado. Sí, muy bien. Asimismo, hacemos envíos a nivel nacional. Nuestra institución trabaja con la empresa Sharon. Para cualquier duda, consulta o dificultad, por favor comunicarse con mi persona con el siguiente número que está en la pantallita para poderlos ayudar a cada uno de ustedes. Asimismo, estamos eternamente agradecidos con cada uno de ustedes por ser parte de nuestra familia y también por confiar en nuestra institución. Que tengan una bonita tarde y una bonita semana muy bendecida para cada uno de ustedes. Muchas bendiciones y muchos abrazos, queridos, estimados participantes. Por favor, no falten a nuestra última sesión de clase. Muy buenas tardes con cada uno de ustedes, queridos, estimados participantes.